Hi everyone, it's Lori from Craggy Brook Witchery, and I am once again down in the witch's den because I wanted to show, I don't know how many people really love thrift shopping, but I do. And if I'm lucky enough to find a tarot deck in a thrift store, it's a pretty darn exciting day. I'm a little bit picky on price. Yes, I too want the best deal, but if it's a deck that I think that's worthy, I'll spend a little bit more, especially if it's in good condition. Now, I don't know why this one deck seems to always show up in the thrift stores, but it does. Now, if you're lucky enough to get it in a box, and I think I bought this one for $8.50. And you can see there the title and the author and the illustrator, two authors, work together to bring this to fruition. And you'll get a little paperback in it as far as information goes. It's really in depth. And if you're really, really, really lucky, you will get a little cloth layout. And it is just nylon. There's some printed, you can see some little emblems there that appear in the corners of the cloth. And it's very faint, but it does have the layout for the Celtic cross on it. And I'd open it up, but it's pretty darn boring. So I'm going to take this, because I have a couple, and put it onto a more substantial cloth so that I can actually have a better time using it. The edges aren't even finished, but it's nice that it was included in the box. Now, in the box, you'll probably get, as I say, the paperback, and it is quite in depth for the information that you get, and it does give mythology, and especially with the court cards, you get the zodiac information, and there are spreads in the back. So that's what is printed on the cloth. And it does give some sample spreads, so that is always nice to see their take on what card and what position and how it relates. So that's kind of cool. I also found a hard copy version of that, which was a treat. Now the paper in here may not show up in the camera, but it's sort of a goldish green. So that was interesting. This one I'm going to have to play with because it's a Mythic Tarot workbook. And I remember in college studying a little bit about mythology, but this might help with some visual cards to go along with it to really enforce it. Now, I did pull, I'll try to remember to keep that in there, but look at the information that you're getting for the star card. It's a lot, and this is just a little workbook, and it's going to be asking you to work through the idea of the star related to Pandora's box. And then on this page, you get to include the information that you have gathered by working with the card. So that was kind of neat. And also, when you get, as I said, I think I've recorded this a couple times, but when you get into the court cards, it starts to give you information around certain ones, like the Queen of Cups here, is good for relating to the house of Scorpio and the traits that go along with someone who is of that house. And then you've got another work page over here that you can date and, try to bring people in that that are of that house and their characteristics, because it helps you relate to the cards just a wee bit better. There is information, as I say, all the way through the book. So if you ever stumble on one of these in a thrift store and it hasn't been written in, it's quite a find. And I still might photocopy the pages so not to damage the book. But I thought, let's go through the cards and enjoy the deck. Now this one I have not opened. You can see I got it for $4.99. It's not in order, But let's just see what this little deck has to offer when you find it. And if you're like me and you found this several times, let me know, because it's just so odd that this is the one deck that keeps popping up in the thrift stores. So we'll get this here and we'll rotate this down and we'll zoom in. I do like the color in this deck, the vibrancy that it has. So in a layout, especially on a black cloth, you can see how that's going to really stand out well. So let's just take a little walk through the Mythic Tarot. And before we get too far, this is the backs. A little bit of scuffing happening here, but the cards are in really pretty good shape for a card stock that is not very good. So let's have fun. Our 8 of Wands. There's a lot of energy brought to the illustrations. As I say, the colors are fabulous. None of the decks that I have found have been cut down. Some people like to trim their decks and get rid of the borders, and that's been done by myself as well. The images are just so fresh, so fun. That's a younger knight that I'm used to seeing in the cards. Fairly strong image for the Chariot. I love the tilt of the head on the woman in the middle. The Hierophant. Looks like lightning, thunder in his hands there, symbolic-wise. So the 2 knights so far have a similar position. That's what we see on the cover of the box. A little bit more subdued color-wise. I really like this Wheel of Fortune with the 3 sisters. Different image for a 2 of Cups if you're a Rider-Waite person. Super duper one for 7 of the Swords. Behind the scenes. Yeah, these cards have been actually well kept. Beautiful blue in that, really intense. Navies, cobalts, really nice. the devil, so even if you didn't use the book and get too involved in all the mythology, it's still gorgeous. Love that one. But I think if you did understand a little bit about the mythology, you could bring another bit of information when you're reading for someone. Nice to see that magician in such a natural setting, all his tools ready. This one is so much fun. The world. So even though it's the Four of Cups, there's 3 people. That's interesting. That will be our Pandora's box. Now let's just take a peek here and see if I can quickly find it. Yeah, so the mythical reference we talked about is Pandora. The divinatory meaning is hope, inspiration, faith, and belief in a new and better life. So the image of the star is that of Pandora opening her fateful box, and despite the escape of all the ills, hope remains. It symbolizes the magical side to the human spirit, which never gives up, believing in a better world. No matter how despairing, how dismal, when we have hope, we can carry on. And then a little bit further on, oh, it's interesting. It's asking you to actually color the image that is black and white on the other side of the page. So as you prepare to color the star image, think about your own reactions in difficult, painful circumstances. Is your first instinct to give up, or is it to keep fighting, hoping, believing? What associations and feelings does the image of Pandora opening the forbidden box evoke in you? And note your color choice, paying special attention to key colors. So, it will be trying to get your imagination to work. Settling this one and get on to the next one. Now that one is a little sticky. I might have to buff off something there. There's our 10 of Swords. Really intriguing with that person in the fetal position. That's a different 3 of Swords. A wee bit gruesome. It's always fun to return to some of the decks that you played with before, but sort of haven't got back to them. Again, unbelievable blues in here. Now this image is quite similar to the Holy Grail, where you've got the man walking away from the tower. If you have ever seen my video with the Holy Grail, some of these images seem to be quite familiar. That is a really nice Ten of Wands. She's not hurt in any way, but she's engulfed in all this turmoil. Gorgeous High Priestess with her pomegranate in her hand. Bringing more of that blue in again. Strong sketchiness to the rocks there, really bringing the texture forward. This reminds me of Persephone descending into Hades. This king has quite a surprised look on his face. Four of Wands. I guess that's like the hero returning. Ooh, a dragon creature. And I think that's the last one. Yeah. So, if you're lucky enough to find tarot decks on your haunts of thrift stores, I hope that you can share some of those finds because it is exciting. And check back again. I look forward to hearing from you, your comments, and working with tarot decks is a pleasure. Enjoy your day.